Good evening, everyone. It's your boy Shad. Shad Talks Graps, and we are back with another installment of the Sunday Spotlight. We recap everything in pro wrestling, or we spotlight some of the best talent out there in pro wrestling. Got a special treat for y'all. We are going to spotlight some of the best talent out in pro wrestling. If you haven't seen the caption already, we got a pretty amazing guest over here that I'm going to introduce in a second. But first and foremost, we gotta pass it to the queen of WR, the person who didn't miss me last week, Megan.
Hi, Shad. Hi, everybody. As always, I'm just grateful to be here. Happy to be here. Happy Sunday, or whichever day you're watching this. Um, really excited about this interview. It's going to be a good one. So, you know, but I'm with one of my favorite guys. So hopefully he won't be mad at me for long.
And when she says that, I'm sure she's talking about the guest, not myself. But nah, we glad to have you. I'm glad to be back on the show with you, and I'm glad to be on the spotlight. Was definitely busy last week. Back here, and yeah, I'm excited to introduce our guest today because I've been a fan of this professional wrestler for a little bit of time now. Y'all always say I look like Jacob Fatu out in the comments. Well, this guy's from one of the old stomping grounds of Jacob Fatu, MLW champion over there. I've had an opportunity to have some harsh matches with Fatu, with Alex Hammerstone. I've seen him wrestle out in DMV before. I think he wrestled Mr. a little bit ago. And this man is a true living legend right here. My dog, Alex Kane. How are you doing today, brother?
I'm good. Living legend is that's heavy, but I like it though. I like the crown. I like the living legend. That's cool. I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited. That was an amazing introduction.
Hey man, I'm a big proponent of giving people their flowers while they active and doing it and whatnot, man. So we definitely are a fan of you here. And like I said, we're honored to have you on the interview panel. And yeah, man, let's get straight to it. Megan, I'm gonna pass it to you first. You had a question that you wanted to ask. Go ahead and ask the question.
All right. So, hi, Alex.
Hello.
I was watching an interview of yours recently, a recent interview, and you shared that there was a specific match that inspired you to wrestle full time, and it was the match between The Undertaker and Jeff Hardy for the title back in 2002.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know what was going through your mind as you watched that championship match. Did you envision yourself in Jeff Hardy's shoes? And how did that moment shape your aspirations?
I definitely envisioned myself in Jeff Hardy's shoes. He was he was such an enigma. I didn't know the word at the time, but now I know what that word means. Um, he felt like he was just like being him as much of himself as he possibly could. And like he didn't have a care in the world. Like he was gonna go out here and do his thing. And like that, I mean, wrestling was already an escape for me, but like watching Jeff Hardy as a kid was also an escape within itself. Um, Watching somebody be authentically themselves, and when you're growing up and you're getting picked on and stuff like that for also trying to be yourself, but you see this guy on TV, doing that and succeeding, that kind of lights a fire in you. And watching him in that match, take the beating that he took, and the fact that he kept coming back, and he didn't let he didn't let the Undertaker keep him down for too long. That's it doesn't. I guess you could say it's kind of poetic in a way, and it's just a beautiful thing to watch. So like, I'm sitting there with my dad, and I'm just like, like this is awesome. This is amazing. Like I want to know what that feels like, one day. I think I want to be a professional wrestler. And he was very encouraging about it. He didn't try to like kill my dreams or knock me off or anything like that. Which I thank him for almost every time I talk to him. So to have that fire lit inside me, I had no choice but to commit.
Nah, for sure. And that's crazy to think, because obviously I'm guessing we all within the same age group. I remember watching that match as a kid myself. And I Jeff Hardy is like one of those guys that I know he's not what he was obviously when we were young, but I have just an utmost respect for him still being able to do it at this age, do it after all the injuries and stuff that he's gone through, and still being to put that out on the show. And yeah, that match, man, like it's one of those like kind of David and Goliath stories in general is always great to see. And I think everybody wanted to be Jeff Hardy when they was a kid. To be real with you, he was like one of the flyest dudes, figuratively and also with all that. So that is awesome to see. I know that you also had another question, Megan, on our panel in regards to his upbringing and kind of what got him into it with his athletic background.
Yeah, because just learning that you did a number of sports as a child: football, rugby, wrestling, track and field. You had a lot of athletic pursuits as a child. And it showcased your versatility and your competitiveness. It shows that you knew what it was that you wanted to do from youth. You wanted to be an athlete. What aspects of those sports, such as the physicality, the strategy, or the mental preparation, do you draw most in your professional wrestling career?
You mean like what sport do I draw from the most, or like?
Yeah, like what of those sports, I guess, each do you draw from currently today as a wrestler?
Definitely football and football and wrestling, because rugby was something I did in college on a whim because they offered it to us. They were like, hey, some of you wrestlers should come out and try out rugby, and that was fun. But as far as like for my wrestling, it's really football. It's football in my collegiate and high school career. The wrestling taught me to never be satisfied, and that's a double-edged sword, because like you want to look at your career at this time, especially my career at this time, and see everything that I have done, and that it's like that's great and that it's good, but like the constant of wanting more. So like I sometimes feel like I don't give myself the luxury of enjoying what I've done, or like really like sitting back and being like, damn, like I'm really doing all this cool stuff that people would kill to do, because I want more. It's wrestling also taught me, I guess it sounds cliche, but like truly to never give up, because like you can, like in mat wrestling, like you have your game plan, you have your strategy and whatever, and like when you finally lock up with this dude or whatever, and you're trying to like pick your spots and see where you're going to take a shot or not, he also has his own strategy or whatever. So if he picks you up and drops you on your head or whatever, you gotta recalculate real quickly or whatever. I can't let this dude, beat me or whatever. But I'm not about to give up. I'm not about to give this up. He gonna have to stretch me to paper thin or whatever, to get this win. And then as far as football goes, that definitely taught me just, have that killer instinct, and be as intense as you possibly can be. I mean, it doesn't give you the same advantage as it does in football as in wrestling. But as far as like communicating a character to an audience, I feel like, especially with the way my gimmick is, if I didn't have that, people wouldn't believe, anything that I'm doing. So I'm thankful for, my football career, or my time playing football, because I mean, I didn't play in college, played in high school, but I guess it's still technically a career. Yeah, that definitely just taught me to be as intense as you possibly can be, when it's time to go.
For sure. And are you still watch football? Because I know you from Georgia, so I don't know.
Do not. I don't watch football anymore. And that's not anything against football. When I initially started wrestling, I'm trained by AR Fox of AEW. Okay. And he told me, because he'd always try to find time to do one-on-one stuff. And I remember asking him like how can I be the best, or how can I be the best I possibly can be? And the thing that I was struggling the most with was, match structure, how to put together a match, how to remember where everything goes. And he told me that the best thing that I can do for myself is become obsessed with professional wrestling. And that means cut out everything else or whatever, like entertainment wise, and just watch wrestling or whatever. Every waking moment you can, watch wrestling. And that generally helped me. That helped me pick up everything a lot faster. And I guess ever since then, I just, I haven't gone back to watching any sports. Like every now and again, I'll watch like a Super Bowl, or I'll watch like a college, an NCAA championship, but like I'm not following any sports.
No, I got you. And
I was going to ask, so is there any particular storylines you're following, or any wrestlers you're like watching intensely at this moment?
As far as wrestlers that I'm following, I'm always going to follow Roman Reigns and whatever he's doing, because he's an inspiration of mine. Obafemi. That dude is insane. I know, I guess it's the trendy thing to do, but just watching Joe Hendry's rise to fame, and like the craziest thing about it is like seeing like I'm on TikTok a lot, so I'll see people that aren't even in any wrestling spaces. They don't follow any wrestlers or anything like that. They're making Joe Hendry videos, and I'm just thinking to myself, this man is like, however his career goes, whomever, really gets the reins or whatever, has a chance to make this man like the next. I also hate saying that the next going to be the next this person, but like he could be the next person in the same position that a John Cena's in. I honestly believe that.
Right.
So like, that's always fun. Seeing the guys and girls in, TNA going over to NXT or whatever, and, doing their thing there. And then, NXT folks going over to TNA and doing their thing there. Like it's very, very cool to see like these doors being opened and, these different possibilities. So I think wrestling is in the best place it's ever been in. You can quote me on that.
And it's somewhere clipped up from last week, but and it's also on our IG page. But one of our Sunday Spotlight co-host of mine for the Tuesday NXT Off the Air, when we saw Hammerstone come up, go against Obafemi, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't expect to see that. That kind of, and then we had Jacob Fatu on there the same episode as well. We were like, man, all we missing was Alex Kane to get on there, man. So we gotta see you. If the good people, Mr. Michael Hickenbottom, could get you out there, run a couple matches with someone over there. Maybe you versus Obafemi. that would go crazy, to be honest with you. I ain't gonna lie.
That was bad.
Yes.
Yeah. But speaking of Drizzy, he unfortunately couldn't get on the show today, but he did have a question that he wanted to ask. And I'm gonna ask it for you. He says, we say moments create memories, but what is the moment that has been the most significant for you since you started wrestling?
The moment. I have two.
Yeah.
I'll have two. So, the night I debuted for MLW, in the 2300 arena, and I was so nervous, on the day before and the day of, going to the building and stuff like that, because I didn't know what to expect. There isn't like some like onboarding thing that they have going on where they like introduce you to I guess a television product. So like when I walked out on that stage with King Mo, before I walked the curtain, I didn't know how I was going to feel. But when I walked out there and I'm standing on the stage, it felt like this is where I'm supposed to be. Not, I don't belong and I have to prove myself to be here. But this is where I'm supposed to be. This is where I belong. And that moment will stick with me probably for the rest of my life. The second moment of my career that sticks the most to me is winning the world title, because just like everything that went into it, the culmination of everything coming together, at that time, with Mr. Thomas and the help of MLW Creative, like making. Actually, I won't even say that. Like the Bomaye Fight Club becoming a movement. Like when it first came together, like I was just like, okay, this is just gonna be like, like a team or whatever. We're gonna do what teams do. And it's eventually gonna break up in a year, like a year or so. But just over time, it like becoming this movement and this vehicle for me to, be able to, having other Black wrestlers on screen with me, it's big, and even though sometimes I was like, damn, I wish I could do more. And like, I definitely like made my pitches and stuff like that. But I can only control what I can control. So being able to use that as a vehicle to, put on Black wrestlers in any way that I possibly could was dope. And then also to be out there to beat the longest reigning MLW World Champion. Not the longest reigning, but the second longest reigning, I believe, because Jacob Fatu was the longest. To beat Hammerstone, who. This is the accomplishment that he had. He wasn't the longest reigning, but from the time he was national openweight champion to world champion, he had a belt he had some kind of gold in his hand for 2 years. And to topple that, historic reign and to usher in my own historic reign, was really sick. I mean, yes, at the time winning the belt, didn't know what the reign was going to be like, but to win that championship in the town where I started, in the building where I started with MLW, and for these people to have watched me grow to the wrestler that I had become, that's a movie.
Nah, I love that. And I remember watching that match with you and Hammerstone. Great match. In that moment, like you said, being crowned champion, you could feel that it meant the world to you, and it's great to see. Another big moment I did want to ask about, and I think it was several months ago. I know you had the match versus AJ Francis, who's ducking me in a rap battle because I'm a battle rapper, but that's neither here or there. He's battling someone who's more significant than me on the card. But that moment, because I know on that event, you had the moment where you were also with like Mark Henry and Teddy Long and all that. How was that for you?
It didn't feel real. So like I kind of had to, I guess I kind of dissociated a little bit, like in the moment or whatever of this all happening, because like to everybody else, it's like, oh my god, this is crazy, this is insane, and to me, I'm just like, yeah, this is happening, but it doesn't feel real, so I don't know if I should, get super excited about this. And then it's also like the thought in my mind of like, oh, I don't want to be a mark, I don't want to mark out, I mean, yes, this is Mark Henry, and yes, this is Teddy Long, but like I still got to, I got to keep it together. But no, that entire night was insane. AJ is, one hell of a worker, entertainer, one hell of a heel, one hell of a heel. And I learned a good bit, in that feud. And we got to really like tell, we essentially told the story of the first Black Panther movie. Essentially, that's the best way for me to put it. That's essentially what the story was. But to be able to play that out in wrestling is really dope.
Yeah, no, it was dope, and I definitely see that correlation of what you're saying with the storyline. And like I said, that was also cool to see another great moment for you. Megan, I know you had a question on deck.
Yeah. I just wanted to go back to you as a champion for MLW. Now, I understand that you are the first of your kind because you are part of the LGBTQ plus community, and you're the
bisexual
first.
Stand up.
You're the first world champion who is bisexual, and I know that it means something different as a man of color. Did you ever fear backlash or worry that your identity will impact your career? And well, you can ask that, and then I'll ask mine.
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, granted, there's always going to be people who are going to be weird, and they're going to hate on you for who you are. But I mean, like, you kind of just got to let that roll off your shoulders and be like, whatever. I mean, I did it, and you're hating because you didn't do it. So as far as like fans and stuff like that being weird, I never really worried about that. And then especially within like the locker room, like in the MLW locker room, there are no, that's what I like to call dickheads. None of those exist. It's a really, really good locker room. It's been a really, really good group of guys and girls. So no, it was never a worry of mine. I also don't put my sexual orientation out on Front Street. Like, it's not a part of my character. It's not a part of my persona or anything like that. It is who I am. So like, I still want to put it out there so people, know how to, I guess, identify me. But it's not integral to it's not integral to what the character is.
Okay.
Got you.
And how do you think your platform can help create a more inclusive wrestling community, encouraging others to be themselves?
I think with the Bomaye is for the people, that's my way of, bringing people together and trying to create community. A lot of people think that the Bomaye Fight Club is just like only for Black people. And I guess for the entirety of my presentation as a world champion, like seeing those entrances, you would think, okay, this is just for Black people. Nobody else can be here. But that was like, I guess for the world title reign, that was the focus because like there aren't a lot of Black world champions. So, to have that platform there, if I, have that platform there and being able to highlight myself and highlight other people, whether it's just their faces on the screen and they're just like, oh, snap, I know that person. Or, oh, I know that person. That's what that was. I've I've started reading a lot of literature of the Black Panthers, and Fred Hampton and Huey P. and stuff like that. And I remember reading about like the Rainbow Coalition, and how like they were essentially trying to unite all of the working people. So it's black, white, Asian, Hispanic. It didn't matter. Like we're all on the same playing field or whatever, and we all need to band together. And like the Bomaye is for the people thing is it's that, but for wrestling. So like this past show, I had some white folks in the train. I had some black folks in the train. I had some Hispanic folks in the train. And that's to show like everybody's welcome here, as long as you're not like a bigot or like trying to like oppress folks or supporting folks that oppress folks or whatever. You're welcome here, because I want this to be a safe space for marginalized folks and non-marginalized folks.
I like that, man. I think that is important, and that I know. I think you had like a I'm in the NAW page on Facebook. I think they shared it that you was trying to get people to, also you're having like auditions for people that could also join in for. I think.
Oh yeah. So it's not an audition. It's just for people. So people show up to MLW shows all the time. To help out. To pay their dues and stuff like that. But so I try to, with being able to have this entrance that they allow me to have, to be able to have like wrestlers and other media personalities, stuff like that. Like one time in Philly, I had Muscleman Malcolm in the fight train. And that was really, really dope.
DMV.
So yes. So like, what was I saying? Yes. So like when I think the last show was the first time I had the fight train since, beating AJ and doing everything else. So I always put out a post on Twitter and Facebook and like, hey, if you're in the area and you want to come out and do this or whatever, please come. I'll tell them the dress code and all that other stuff. It's just for a time for them to come out and, have a good time with me. And then with them coming out to be in my entrance, they also find their way into, doing other extra stuff for the show. So they'll be involved in other segments or other pre-tapes or whatever. So it just, it gives them a chance to get the feel of, what being on a TV product would feel like.
For sure. Hey, Megan, we're going to have to make that trip to Philly to MLW one day to get on the entrance.
You are welcome.
I'm gonna be there. I will definitely be there. I'm just in New York, so it's a quick ride for me.
I'm outside of DC, so it is only a couple hours, but that's awesome. I know we are running short on time, so I want to end off with a game that we like to do with our guest over here. And obviously, we know you from Georgia, so I want you to blind rank these Georgia native professional wrestlers for me, if that's cool with you. So obviously 1 is the best, 5 is the lowest, and you don't know which order they're coming in. Like I said, it's all blind rank. So we're going to start off with the most important Hogan in professional wrestling, Kiera Hogan.
Number 2.
Number 2, okay. We are going to go with Xavier Woods.
Number 3.
Okay. AJ Styles.
5.
Ooh, okay. Cody Rhodes.
Even though my wife hates this man for reasons that I understand, he will be number 1.
And Alex Kane.
I'm number 4, baby.
Okay. I like that. And then got one more for you before we wrap it up. Georgia rappers. You cool with that one?
All right.
we're gonna start. Number one that I have on the list is Future.
2.
Okay. Gucci Mane.
1.
Okay. Young Thug.
5.
Okay. Young Jeezy.
3.
And then that means 4 is T.I.
Yep.
All right. Oh man, now
I'm gonna be mad at me for that. They'll be like, I can't believe you put together that low. I'm like, it's a blind react, dog.
Yeah, man. Man, nah. But like I said, we appreciate you, bro. Thank you for taking some time out to talk to us. Anything you want to plug before we end the show? The floor is yours.
Follow me on Twitter because I'm entertaining and funny at Alex_Kane11. That is at that same handle. That's on TikTok. Follow me on TikTok. I'm trying to get to 10K. Just let your boy get to 10K. Follow me on Instagram at the Suplex Assassin. Either stream or come out to MLW Slaughterhouse on October 4th. I'm wrestling. Me and Mr. Thomas are wrestling Akira Kwan and Minoru Suzuki. I just dropped a new shirt today on MLWshop.com. Also buy some of my merch on brainbustertees.com and also For Your Wear. That's For Your Wear. It's black owned, so support a black owned business and a black wrestler. And yeah, subscribe to me on YouTube. It's Alex Kane 1. Let's go. Let's get this going. Give me the 10K. Give me the 10K on there too.
I like it. Make sure you support the bro, and we'll definitely be following you on those socials too. I'm trying to get my TikTok up as well. So, but like I said, thank you again. Thank you all for watching on the comments. We'll be back same time next week. Watch the Wrestling Republic daily, every day, same time, and most importantly, watch the Tuesday Night Delight do what he does on NXT off the air. Sometimes we have Megan there as well. It's all good. Y'all take care. Sometimes when we invite her. Y'all be easy. Peace.